Okay, welcome. This is new for me. I'm going to be putting all the notes up online. So how I would suggest that you take these notes is have a pair of headphones on so that you're just listening to this. Have a notebook nearby. Be willing to stop the video whenever you need time to write something down if I go too fast. If you have any questions, put questions in the margins, or even just a question mark next to something so that I can explain it to you better when you're back in class. So today we're going to talk about translating from English to algebra and from algebra to English. Now, algebra technically is what's called a symbolic system, which means in a lot of different ways you can think of algebra as being a foreign language. You can translate from English to algebra the same way that you would translate from English to Spanish or vice versa. So let's take a look at some examples of how we would do this. First, let's take a look at the algebra symbol on the left, and let's talk about the English words that mean that on the right. So in algebra, we have the plus symbol, and the English words that can mean that are sum, S-U-M, meaning the sum of 3 and 5 or something like that. The word plus, added to, increased by, and more than. So these are all words that can mean the plus symbol. Next we have minus. And the words that can mean this are difference, minus, decreased by, and then I have the next two phrases in asterisks. There's less than and subtracted from. The reason I have those in asterisks is because they flip the order things come in. For example, if I were to say 4 less than x, that is not 4 minus x, it's x minus 4. Less than and subtracted from are two very special cases that you need to make sure that you're on the lookout for, which is why I have them asterisked there. Next, let's look at the multiplication symbol. So multiplication, some words for that would be product, times, multiplied by, of, or twice. And twice is a special one. Twice specifically means to multiply by 2. There are other ones like this, thrice even, but twice is the one that you'll see most commonly. The division symbol. So the words for that would be quotient, divided by, the ratio of two numbers, and a special one for that would be half. Again, there are other special ones, but half means specifically to divide by 2. Also, there's the equal sign. In algebra, the equal sign means, in English, the equal sign means is equal to, is the same as. Whenever you see that is verb in a sentence, it means the equal sign. And finally, whenever we use a symbol in algebra, either they use the actual letter that they want the symbol to be, or they'll say just a number or a variable, and you'll get to choose what symbol you want to use. Let's take a look at this in action here. So our first example, we're going to take an English sentence and we're going to translate it into an algebraic equation. So as you're going through, you want to pay attention to keywords. So the first one would be quotient. If you remember from just a second ago, quotient means divide. So the quotient of 5 and a number x, that occurs in the order that you see them. So it would be 5 divided by x is the same as means equals, and then increased by means plus. So in algebra, this would look like 5 divided by x is equal to y plus 10. Now you don't have to be super fancy with your language with this. You can be very, very simple. For example, instead of saying the quotient of 5 and x, you could have said 5 divided by x. Instead of saying y increased by 10, you could have just said y plus 10. There's a few exclusions to that. For example, if it's 2y, I don't want you to write it down as 2y. I need you to show me that you understand that it would be 2 times y. So let's look at another one here. This time we're going to go in the other direction. So in algebra, it looks like 7b minus 2 equal to a plus 4. So I would challenge you guys to try to write this in as fancy a way as possible. So for example, you could write 7 times b minus 2 equals a plus 4, and that's fine. But maybe you want to try and get a little fancy with it. Stretch yourself, try to do something new. You could write this as, say, the product of 7 and b decreased by 2 is equal to the sum of a and 4. All right, cool. So that's the end of this first lesson. You can find an assignment for this in the back of the classroom, in the black algebra crate, in a folder marked Lesson 1. So, if you have any questions, let me know, and enjoy.